And joining me now for more on this story is Jamil Jaffer. He's the executive director of the National Security Institute at George Mason University. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, we've had so much focus over the past month plus on things like the government shutdown, the Epstein files. I do feel like the Venezuela story has been buried a bit in terms of its prominence for Americans. Just how significant is what the U.S. has been doing in that region of the world?
Well, Andrew, obviously the strikes that we've been conducting in international waters are unprecedented. We've been taking action against drug cartels. A number were listed, 8 in particular in January by the president as foreign terrorist organizations. He's now added one today, Cartel de los Soles. But these are all drug trafficking organizations that are sending drugs to the United States. Historically, we view those as law enforcement targets, but the president said, look, with the number of deaths in America due to fentanyl and other drugs, tens of thousands, I now believe these are a national security threat. I'm going to use the military and potentially the intelligence community to take action against them. And now maybe even not just on the sea in the international waters, but potentially on land in places like Mexico, Colombia, and Venezuela. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you about that because those comments about Mexico and Colombia, we know that Venezuela had been on the table, at least in the public sort of comments from this administration. But what is the meaning or significance of the fact that the president today started throwing in Mexico and Colombia into the mix as well?
Well, look, I think at some level it's not surprising. The president has moved an aircraft carrier battle group into the Caribbean. He's flown B-1B bombers and B-2 bombers along the coast of South America near Venezuela. Those are unprecedented actions. And we know that a lot of the drug flow coming across the southern border is coming across through Mexico. That's where the primary route of fentanyl is. There's a lot of cocaine and other drugs coming up through the Caribbean, but a lot of the fentanyl from China is coming through the Mexican border. So it's sort of not surprising to hear the president say that he might consider taking action on land. Of course, that would be a huge escalation. We have a partner country in Mexico where we partner with the Mexican Navy. We partner with the Colombians as well as part of Plan Colombia. So these would be, big steps, but perhaps not surprising given the president's view that this is a national security threat to the safety and health of American citizens here in the United States.
The movement of the aircraft carrier, the USS Ford, to the Caribbean, what is the significance there?
Well, look, it suggests that the president thinks this is a big deal, that he might be getting ready for something more significant than just airstrikes against drug boats in the Caribbean. Now, it could just be in support of that, but the aircraft carrier battle group, it's a large number of ships. You got the aircraft carrier itself, and its embarked carrier air group. On top of that, you've got 3 destroyers. Potentially, we don't know for sure, but potentially submarines. Typically, you'll see a cruiser as well. That's not present in this scenario, but that's still a significant number of ships. In that part of the world, you don't usually see that there. You see it in the Indo-Pacific, you see it in the Mediterranean, you see it in the Arabian Gulf, but not usually in Latin America or in the Caribbean near the United States.
So designating a group that has ties to Maduro as a terrorist organization would have wide-ranging implications. What sorts of things would that potentially allow the United States to do?
Well, historically, the foreign terrorist organization designation is a matter of sanctions. It's a matter of law enforcement. It's a matter of additional authorities. It's not typically used as a way of conducting offensive military or intelligence strikes, although those sometimes do go hand in hand with the war on terror. We haven't seen that with drug cartels in the past, the designation or this additional notion of authorities. But what the administration has suggested through what we haven't seen the actual legal justification, but we've read 2 now congressional notifications the president sent to Congress, and those have indicated that he believes he's got authority as commander-in-chief to prosecute this action because of the imminent threats to the United States with these dead Americans as a result of fentanyl and other drugs.
So obviously, drugs is a big part of this. It is the primary reason, according to the White House and Pentagon, that these strikes have been carried out. But are there any other issues at play that are going into the decision-making of carrying out these strikes, or potential, certainly on sea and potentially on land, when it comes to what this administration has done around Venezuela?
Well, certainly with respect to Venezuela, this administration has long been opposed to the Maduro regime. We saw in the first Trump administration a lot of efforts to get Maduro out of office, to put pressure on Venezuela. Ultimately, that was not successful. Efforts in the Biden administration were also not successful. It seems like President Trump is pretty clear on this. He wants to stop the flow of drugs. He wants to address the drug trade both on land in Mexico with fentanyl. He's put pressure on the Chinese to stop sending those precursors over to Mexico. And now the question is, does the United States want regime change in Venezuela? And if so, what is it willing to do to achieve that? In the past, we've seen U.S. presidents go into Panama and other countries in Latin America to assert U.S. interests and to capture drug dealers. We saw that happen with the president of Panama years ago, decades ago now. And so the question is, will the President Trump do that here? He's got a base that's not supportive of going to foreign countries, so we'll see what happens with the MAGA base as well.
Yeah, very interesting there, the politics of some of this. Jamil Jaffer, the Executive Director at National Security Institute at George Mason. Sir, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thanks, Andrew.